Hello again and welcome to the Warhammer 40k Imperial Guard Tactics video. Now before we get into today's video, I would like to say a huge thank you to John Jace Dickerbrew for sending in lots and lots of photos of his really cool looking armies, desert themed Catachans and some warp stone Tyranids. Now I know some of you will be saying that Tyranids, what are these foul Xenos doing on the channel? But you know, some might argue that they're star gods. I mean, I don't know. I just heard some guy talking about that. You know, I don't know. But thank you, Jokes aside, thank you, John, for sending in these pictures. Absolutely fantastic. Lots and lots of pictures. Really cool themed armies. Really like the desert theme on the Catachans. Nice different take on them. Yeah. So if anyone else has got any cool pictures they want me to use in my videos, please post them on my Facebook page. There will be a link down in the description below. Now, without further ado, we're going to take a look at some more Forge World stuff today. Because as I promised, I did say that I'm going to start taking Forge World into account much more going forward with these videos. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Macharius Vulcan heavy tank. Okay, now for those of you that are unaware of the Macharius series of heavy tanks, they're essentially halfway between a Baneblade and a Leman Russ. They are a super heavy tank, but they're not on the same level as a Baneblade. They're not. They share many of the advantages, but not the same stats. So, a lot of people, there's multiple variants of the Macharius, but the one that has caught my eye, which I think could be potentially very competitive, genuinely, is the Macharius Vulcan. Now, just to go over the stats that all Machariuses have, which is they have movement value of 10, which goes down to 7, which goes down to 4 as it degrades. Ballistic skill of 4+, which degrades to 5+, degrades to 6+. Strength 8, which is nice. Toughness 8, which is big. 22 wounds, which is hefty to say the least. Leadership 8, neither here nor there, and 3+ save. Now that sounds very much like a Baneblade, but without the 4, with 4 less wounds. Now the thing is that the Macharius is significantly worse in close combat. Now some of you will say, well, that's only a small thing. It's not. Baneblades are actually really good in close combat, and like any Lord of War, considering you're paying so much for them, they have to be active in every phase, and so there's nothing wrong with slamming Baneblades into combat every opportunity you get. Now the Macharius can't do that. It is a heavy tank, not a super heavy Titanic unit. So to represent that, it only has 3 attacks at its top bracket. Then it goes down to D3, then it goes down to 1. Doesn't have adamantium tracks like the Baneblade. So if it gets in combat, it's not doing a lot in combat. The advantage it has, though, is it does have the Steel Behemoth rule, or Behemoth, which means that it doesn't suffer the penalty for moving and shooting and firing its heavy weapons. It can fall back in the movement phase, still shoot and charge in its turn. And when firing its weapons, it can still shoot at enemy units if they're within 1 inch of it. However, so its sponsons and whatnot can do that, but the main gun has to shoot elsewhere. So just like normal, it's got that. When it explodes, it still does D6 mortal wounds within 2d6. So it does explode still in a big boom boom way. So it is very much like a Baneblade. It has 4 less wounds and is not very good in combat at all. Now, what does this beast come with? Well, it comes with twin heavy stubber in the front, as standard. Okay? Twin heavy stubber. And then it also comes with 2 heavy stubbers on the sides as well. Okay, so it comes with 4 heavy stubbers, and you can add another one as a pintle mount. Now the twin heavy stubber, you have to keep that. Pintle mount obviously could be changed to Stormbolt if you want. But the 2 heavy stubber sponsons can be swapped out for 2 heavy bolters. Though bear in mind you are paying 4 times the price. Because 2 heavy stubbers is 4 points, 2 heavy bolters is 16 points. You can also swap them out for 2 heavy flamers, but then you are paying 28 points. I think realistically you keep this thing with its 5 heavy stubbers. Take 5 heavy stubbers, you're putting out 15 bolter shots a turn, which is alright, you know, for 10 points. The main thing, you can also take a hunter killer missile on it. The main thing you're looking at though is the Macharius Vulcan Mega Bolter, which is why this one is called the Macharius Vulcan. That's its namesake. Now, for those of you that are aware, the Stormlord also has a Vulcan Mega Bolter, and the stats for that are it's Strength 6, it's AP -2, flat 2 damage. Now, the problem with Stormlord is that the key difference is between the regular Vulcan Mega Bolter and the fact this one has a Macharius Vulcan Mega Bolter. Okay? The Vulcan Mega Bolter, the normal one on the Stormlord, just gets 20 shots. No matter what, it gets 20 shots. This is at odds with how it used to be in every other edition before 8th edition, where the Stormlord, if it stays still, got to fire twice. Now the Macharius retains that rule. However, it only fires 15 shots. So if it moves, you get 15, but if you stay still, you can fire twice. Which means if you stay still this thing, you're getting 30 shots. At Strength 6, AP -2, 2 damage. That is better than an Avenger Gatling Cannon. Way better. Now bear in mind that this weapon is a 60-inch range. Okay? Bear in mind also that this vehicle can benefit from regiment traits, such as Cadian. Reroll 1s if you stay still. Get +1 to hit if with overlapping fields of fire. Vostroyan, slap Firstborn Pride on one of these things. And so all this sounds very good to be true, but how much does it cost in points? Well, if you take it with all the heavy stubbers and the Vulcan Mega Bolter, it comes in at a reasonable price of 363 points. 363. Now bear in mind, you've got a unit here which can't be tied up in combat, doesn't give a shit if it's in combat. A unit which puts out more shots than a Chaos Renegade Knight with twin Gatling cannon, and can be more accurate, and at 22 wounds, and toughness 8, and a 3+ armor save. Well, the thing is I think these Machariuses are a bit of a sleeper unit, because 8th edition is all about weight of dice. That we've learned that the go big or go home philosophy struggles in the current meta of mass invuln saves. So now we start looking towards things like autocannons, which have that nice amount of punch with a hefty amount of damage, but you're not paying through the nose for a high AP. Well, the Macharius Vulcan is that principle made manifest. Now think about this. Okay, you take 3 of these things, you're only spending about 1,000 points? 1,100 roughly. 1,000 roughly, very roughly 1,100. Okay. You take 3 of these things, you've still got 900 points left over for the rest of your army. You could still fit in a Bulgrin Star on top of this, or a Tempestus Scion drop force, and have enough room left over for plenty of screening infantry. Plenty. Okay, so bear all that in mind. This is significant. This is about 33% cheaper than 3 Baneblades. Okay. Now, let's say you take Cadian. Why wouldn't you? These units can sit still. These units are going to want to sit still, because if they stay still, they fire twice. So they're rerolling 1s. Great. Now, in this Knight Heavy meta, you're going to be taking Old Grudges, which means you're going to reroll the wounds. So what you do is you chip a wound off a Knight, which you put Old Grudges on, put overlapping fields of fire in it, and you fire 3 Vulcan mega bolters at these things. That's 90 shots. Now you're hitting on 3s, rerolling 1, so you're going to hit with 60 shots. Okay. Then on the remaining 30 that you missed, you're going to reroll 1s, which should yield you, well, another 5 or 6 hits. So let's say you get 65 hits. Okay. Now, then you wound on 5s, which is 20 wounds, but you're re-rolling all wounds, which should get you up to about 30 wounds. Okay, now it's AP -2, so the Imperial Knight player more than likely is going to kick in rotate Iron Shields. So of the 30 wounds that you do, he's going to fail half of them, which is 15, which is 30 wounds, which is a dead Imperial Knight in 1 turn. Which is actually incredible. Because it's 2 damage a pop. It's 2 damage a pop. So even if your opponent gets, is taking House Tyrannus and he gets the ability to 6-up Feel No Pain, that bad boy, he should still fail enough that statistically he will lose a knight in 1 turn from these things. Now if you take 3 of these things and then take something which is really obviously anti-tank, then there's a very good chance that, maybe even just 2 of these things, there's a very good chance that you can trick your opponent into killing the anti-tank thing and leaving these things on their own. Which would mean that the Macharius Vulcans are actually secretly some of your best anti-tank you've got available. Now, once the old grudge is over and you're firing them normally, there's still, as we said, you're still looking at about 65 hits. You're still looking at about 20 wounds. 20 wounds, and I'm being harsh. Which the Imperial Knight player, again, is only going to pass half of those. Which, again, is another 20 damage if he rotates Iron Shields. So these things are absolutely incredible. Really anti-meta. Really a lot of potential in them. But they're just, and then they can take on hordes like there's no tomorrow. A couple of these things, orc mobs are all the rage at the moment. I know we talk a lot about knights at the moment. That's because the focus is on them. But orcs with 90 boys are all over the place. Everyone runs orcs with 3 squads of 30 boys all over the shop. These things will just shred them. Absolutely shred them to pieces. No armor save. Wounding on 3s. Just, there's going to be chunks flying everywhere. So I think these units are really, really good. The Macharius battle tank is okay. It's got an alright battle cannon. But you don't really, take Lemurus tank commanders. Lemurus tank commanders are better, I believe. And also the Macharius Vanquisher leaves something to be desired. Although it is quite tactically flexible because the Macharius Vanquisher can shoot either quite decent Vanquisher shells or can shoot battle cannon shells. So it's quite flexible. If you're going to take a Macharius battle tank, you might as well spend like 10-15 points more and get the Macharius Vanquisher. And the Macharius Omega is a strange plasma variant, which I think could have some potential, but I think is overshadowed by the Vanquisher and then especially by the Macharius Vulcan. So what do you guys think? Go and check these things out. Do some maths hammer. We're not even taking into account the 15 heavy stubber shots that these things are putting out as well. It's 45 heavy stubber shots. That's going to help clear away a lot of hordes. Genestealer Occult are all over the place. These things are so anti-Genestealer Occult, it's untrue. The strength 6 means they're wounding the majority of Genestealer Occult stuff on 2s. The heavy stubbers are able to wound most Genestealer Occult stuff on 3s. So these things are really, really good. And relatively cheap. You might not want to go down the route of fully committing to all 3. 2 might be enough. 2 and a Shadow Sword might do you fine. What do you guys think? Please put some comments down below. And of course, I'll see you guys next time.